Good afternoon, everyone. I'm back, and I've got a big one for you today on Make America Healthy again. Yes, going back in time to when Americans were healthy. It's not just an American thing, it's a Canadian thing too, a Western developed world thing. And living in Mexico, now a Mexican thing. The developing world is suffering from the very same maladies as us. Hi, got one in. So I'm not going to delay too much because I have put in here that you can rewind, right? And you can go back to the beginning. But yes, I've got a big lineup. Make America Healthy Again, of course, is the music to so many people's ears. And, well, who can argue with it, right? I can't. It's a necessity that, over 50% of the population tackles obesity. Diabetes is off the chart. Cancer. The West is sick. They are. So many people that should know better are really, really happy to see Make America Healthy Again coming to fruition. But I'm going to decode it today for you, mostly because, well, first and foremost, influencers have a huge influence on the acceptance of initiatives like Make America Healthy Again, which, by the way, aligns with SDG number 3, Agenda 2030, good health and well-being, okay? So I want to ensure people are understanding that Make America Healthy satisfies Sustainable Development Goals of UN Agenda 2030. Okay. There's a lot of influencers out there right now, and for months doing Senate committee hearings, that sort of thing. Food Babe is one of them, Vani Hari. And of course, a lot of people, look up to Vani, right? They do. Marla Maples, she's another one. And I'm going to flip to a few here just so you can get an idea of who's in there. So there's Marla Maples, Robert F. Kennedy, of course, Vani Hari, Jillian Michaels. We've got Alex Clark, Caitlin Sinclair, Callie Means, Casey Means, Nicole Saphir, MD. But I want to talk about Vani Hari because she's kind of a hero in the organic world, right? In the natural living world. She's a bit of a superstar. And I've been following her for years. And I can tell you that, it was when I saw her out there at the Senate hearings trying to get the red dye and these certain ingredients out of processed food that I started thinking, what the hell is that? Why is this woman advocating for junk food to make junk food healthier? Because, sorry, no processed food is good, right? And she advocates for cooking, and all of a sudden I was like, whoa, those wires are getting crossed there. What's going on? I smell biotechnology. And unfortunately, a lot of people aren't understanding that Make America Healthy Again is an endeavor of biotechnology. Yes, it is. And I'm going to take you through it and tell you how I came to understand this. Number one, it aligns with SDG number 3, yes. And it sounds great. Our vision for a healthier, stronger America. At Make America Healthy Again, we are uniting health-conscious, independent-minded voters to champion transformative policies and hold government agencies accountable. Sounds great. Through sophisticated voter targeting, strategic advocacy, innovative outreach, and data-driven initiatives, we remain committed to the following key priorities. Tackling the chronic disease epidemic. Absolutely. We advocate for a comprehensive national strategy to address the root causes of America's chronic disease crisis: poor diets, environmental toxins, and inadequate healthcare systems. By promoting preventative healthcare and clean food initiatives, we aim to empower individuals and communities with access to healthier lifestyles. Sounds great. Advancing regenerative agriculture. We are leading the charge for sustainable farming practices that build our soil, reduce chemical reliance, and promote biodiversity. Regenerative agriculture is the key to healthier food systems and a major player in the fight to make America healthy again. Okay? Protecting natural habitats. These all align with the SDGs of UN Agenda 2030, by the way. Okay? Environmental preservation is integral to public health. We fight for stronger protections of America's natural ecosystems and promote policies that restore and sustain these precious resources for generations to come. Fabulous. Exposing corporate corruption. We are a watchdog for the public interest, exposing the corporate stranglehold on the very government agencies meant to protect our health and environment. By pushing for transparency and accountability, we work to restore our trust in our nation's institutions. Fabulous. I see a few of you there. Eliminating environmental toxins. Clean air, water, and food are non-negotiables. We promote candidates and policies that remove harmful chemicals and pollutants to ensure every American lives in a toxin-free environment. Sounds wonderful, right? Okay. I'm going to take you to, well, first, we know that RFK is set to be confirmed this week. That's pretty much a done deal, unless they pull a bait and switch out of there, but it looks like that's on. Now, what most people don't understand is weeks ago, Jim O'Neill was appointed and confirmed to be the deputy next to RFK, if he is in fact confirmed, right? The deputy HHS secretary. He's the guy who's going to handle operations. Let's talk about Jim, okay? Jim O'Neill is a biotechnology investor and former official at the Department of Health and Human Services, and has been nominated by President-elect Trump, this was before, to serve as HHS Deputy Secretary. O'Neill has a significant background in biotechnology and health policy, having previously served in the George W. Bush administration as the CEO of the Thiel Foundation. The Thiel, okay, so that's PayPal, Peter Thiel, Palantir, Peter Thiel, okay, which is military industrial complex, okay, so we've got those two aspects, biotechnology and military industrial complex. He has also been a critic of the Food and Drug Administration, advocating for reforms that would allow drugs to be approved based on safety rather than requiring proof of efficacy up front. Okay, remember COVID? Okay. Proof, efficacy, safety. Well, this is more of the separation that was. They didn't have to prove efficacy. And they're saying this right here, okay? So he will allow drugs to be approved based on safety rather than requiring proof of efficacy up front. So they have to prove safety, but they don't have to prove it works. Got it? Okay. O'Neill's appointment is seen as part of a broader agenda to streamline drug development and reduce regulatory barriers, which could potentially lead to a proliferation of unvetted products on the market. So, same situation as we had with the CV, right? Yeah. This is more of that. So on one hand, they're going to make America healthy, but they're going to introduce a whole bunch of drugs into the pipeline that have proven safety but no efficacy. That doesn't have to be proven. O'Neill's involvement with biotechnology companies such as the current board position at Advantage Therapeutics, a company focused on developing treatments for neurodegenerative diseases, further underscores his interest in the sector. His role at Advantage Therapeutics, which aims to transform aluminum-based vaccine adjuvants into therapeutic treatments for Alzheimer's disease, highlights his commitment to advancing biotechnological innovation. Yeah, William, I would say this is kind of a dangerous person. Yes. And again, Palantir, right? I've got Palantir here. I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about this. Palantir Technologies is a key player in the military-industrial complex, providing advanced defense software solutions for the U.S. and allied military forces. The company's software helps the U.S. Army leverage AI insights to make quick decisions across multiple domains. In May of 2024, the U.S. Army awarded Palantir a $480 million contract to expand a data analysis and decision-making tool to more military users globally. Okay, so this is a globalist company. It's not just dealing with the U.S. military. I covered Palantir the other day. Oh my gosh, so much going on. It's hard to keep it all straight. But okay, so right now we've got Jim O'Neill, who is a biotech man. He's going to be the operations guy. So what I see with RFK already is that he's the front man. He was the front man for the Children's Health Defense, right? That's where he created the image that he was against vaccines. And the alternative media furthered that. Well, the MSM said he was an anti-vaxxer. He never was, because he's jabbed all his children, as he said. He is a believer in vaccines. He's also an investor. Yes, he is, in biotechnology. So what I see with RFK is that he is, in fact, a front man. Okay? Again, leading those skeptics down the path because they trust him. Well, no. Clearly, he can't be trusted because, again, all of this wasn't disclosed. And everybody goes on face value, just like with Vani Hari. Food babe, I'm very disappointed in you, Vani. I really am. But you know what? A lot of people get hoodwinked by biotechnology. They do. And, so I'm not going to say that any of these influencers quite understand any of this. And back in the day, I got hoodwinked by biotechnology in my efforts to legalize hemp. I was on the team that put on the trade shows in order to bring government together with the hemp industry in order to legalize it in Canada. It wasn't until years later that I understood that it was biotechnology behind that. You see, they needed hemp. They couldn't come out and say they wanted to introduce biotech foods into the human market because there was way too much opposition. So what they did, it was they egged the hemp people on to create a category that had never been addressed before, and that was called the Novel Foods Act. Yes. I pretty much sold those trade shows myself. I was pretty passionate. I had a hemp store at the just before that. So I didn't understand anything about biotechnology at that point. I was in the fashion end of things. So sadly, Vani, you are aligned with biotechnology. And the thing is about her products, True Vani, they are GMO free, organic when possible, she says. At the beginning, I believed that that was all about organic, but it seems to have wavered. And that does happen when you get investment. I've seen that over the years. And I was in the natural products world business for 10 years with my hemp food company. So I understand this stuff. I also understand how biotechnology ultimately operates, because we didn't see biotechnology sniffing around. They let us believe that hemp was the reason that this new legislation was being introduced. And in fact, biotechnology and hemp got the same categorization under the Novel Foods Act. Hemp had heavy government regulation, and the biotech foods got self-regulation. That's how that worked. Again, I didn't realize till years later what I had promoted, and not that I would take back the hemp part, but I certainly wouldn't have been aligned with biotechnology knowing what I do today. So this is the issue with influencers. But again, when I saw Vani Hari advocating to change ingredients in crapola processed food, I knew I could smell biotechnology. And this is how you know, okay? So things aren't as they seem all the time. And again, they provide us heroes and we follow based on their previous reputation without digging in, and we have to dig in. Now, this is very interesting because precision medicine, and the AI popped this up. This was quite funny. Precision medicine, an innovative approach to healthcare that takes into account individual differences in people's genes, environments, and lifestyles, is being promoted as a key component of RFK Jr.'s Make America Healthy Again agenda. This initiative aims to transform healthcare by personalizing treatments and improving health outcomes for individuals. The Precision Medicine Initiative, first launched by President Obama in 2015, has laid the groundwork for such advancements. It includes building a voluntary national research cohort of 1 million or more Americans who volunteer to contribute their health data to improve health outcomes and develop new treatments. Peter Pitts, a former FDA Associate Commissioner, and Robert Goldberg, PhD, suggest that to truly transform healthcare in America, regulatory agencies should integrate precision medicine tools more effectively. This would involve identifying individual risks and benefits, starting with preclinical research and continually personalizing outcomes for every American. So what you can see is this is how it kind of ties into Project Stargate, right? Yeah, the $500 million investment. Okay. Right before that, there was UAE Damac invested in U.S. data centers. Yes. So this is about data processing, ultimately. This is about ready access to the health information continually of Americans. And the thing is, this system is coming to all of us. Right now, we're dealing with America, but later on, this is Canada, this is UK, it is going to be the worldwide. This is why they've allowed our healthcare system to go to crap, because they know it's coming down the pipeline, and here it is, right? Okay. One thing, Kennedy's agenda also emphasizes the importance of precision medicine in vaccine development. Traditional vaccines aim to trigger antibodies and immune responses, but may not always align with the body's natural immune responses. Precision vaccinology applies the principles of precision medicine to improve vaccine development, administration, and analysis, potentially creating stronger and longer lasting immunity. Remember, all they have to do is make sure it's safe, okay? Because this is what they're going to be pushing. They don't have to achieve efficacy. It doesn't necessarily have to work, okay? See, this is where I come to understand that, again, these vaccines, they're not vaccines. We know that. They're genetic amendments. These are genetic therapies. So they are literally tweaking the genes of people who allow that mRNA technology anywhere near them. And of course, they're going to be swapping out the entire childhood vaccine schedule. This is why organizations like the Children's Health Defense have always centered on the ingredients, okay? Because they don't want to make it a matter of technology here. And even during COVID, most of the stuff I saw coming from that organization did not focus on the mRNA at all. It was on the ingredients, the graphene oxide, right? Okay, so let's understand this. This is a lot of massaging and manipulation to achieve an outcome. And we must understand this, guys. Okay, however, the Make America Healthy Again movement has faced criticism for its alignment with anti-vaccine rhetoric and promotion of alternative medicine, which can be harmful and scientifically unfounded. For instance, encouraging the consumption of raw milk, which can be contaminated with harmful bacteria, is a dangerous health trend promoted by some supporters of the movement. Okay. In summary, while precision medicine holds great promise for improving health outcomes through personalized treatments, the Make America Healthy Again movement's approach to implementing these advancements must be critically evaluated to ensure it is based on sound scientific principles and does not promote harmful practices. See, so what you're seeing there is that they're going to push out what they used, the components they used to get all the health advocates involved, like natural health care, alternative medicine, okay? That's going to be edged out. It's not going to be part of the matrix. You can see it, it's already there in black and white. And this is how they do it. So Vani, I think you should be rethinking your alignment with this. Just saying. Because I promoted you. And I really don't like it when people do the bait and switch on me. Lots of people promoted you based on healthy food, cooking, non-GMO ingredients, organic. And this is gene therapy that is behind the Make America Healthy Again movement. We must understand this, kids, because it's pretty sad. Now, here's another thing. When you get to the regenerative, I'll put the links. I'll put them. I'll edit the heading so that all the links are there rather than having to fish through the comments. I know that's a pain with the live, but one thing we need to understand is, okay, so advancing regenerative agriculture. And it's funny because this isn't coming up, but when regenerative agriculture is a very healthy practice. Yes, it is. Anyone who has been in the natural health field and in the green sustainability end of things, regenerative agriculture is what you need to do. Okay? Crop rotation. Again, they're calling for less chemical. Okay? Make America healthy. Except when you get to the bottom of their regenerative agriculture section, where it says gene editing. The use of that, of course, that is the promotion of genetically modified food. It is. You see, what we have to understand is that biotechnology is at the core of UN Agenda 2030. It's also at the core of Make America Healthy. I know so many people want to believe in this, but they're not reading into it enough. They're not doing due diligence and research. They are basing their opinions on these people who they believe were advocating for them. And they were playing their role at the time. But the true nature of these people is coming out, and it's in black and white. We need to understand that. You see, a lot of people will do anything for the money. We have seen that. Corporate corruption, do you think they're going to weed that out? No, biotechnology is the corporate corruption. It's the basis. It is. William, they have been working on the plan for a long time, and it's going to take a lot of strength to get back what they have taken. Absolutely. William, you see it. We know it. These guys play the long game. Years before we were putting on these trade shows for hemp, biotechnology was concocting this little plan. They were. And what they did was they contacted my boss at the time, who was a trade show promoter. He was a producer. That's what he did. Okay? So it wasn't hemp advocates. What this guy did was he hired the hemp advocates to work for him. And of course, it sounded beautiful. And this is what's happened with Make America Healthy. So what we're going to see is more of the Operation Warp Speed stuff. It's right here. This is what it's all about. This isn't about teaching people to nourish themselves properly, educating them to cook again. You see, this is how I would make America healthy, Canada healthy. This is how you teach people that you can't eat out of a box. You teach them how to choose ingredients that are healthy. You teach them how to build a meal plan that incorporates all the things that your body needs. That's not the plan here. And when they talk personalized medicine, what people need to understand is it's not really personal. It's through the AI, they're grouping people. Okay? So it's not 100% personalized. This is going to be health in an app. Okay? And eventually wired right in. And this is the whole idea of these genetic therapies. I know this is kind of high tech, and I try to keep it not high tech because, again, you can go, I do cover that, but I need people to get the basics here. And the bottom line is biotechnology is winning. The mRNA is winning. It is the basis. It is. And it opens up a whole new can of worms. They are spinning you on Facebook. Yes, they are. And you know what I'm doing, though? I've revitalized my YouTube channel, and I will put the link here, too. And later tonight, I will have this one up. And I'm putting all my videos because they are making it difficult here. Bringing that up, nobody voted the UN, but let's go after Elon. Well, nobody voted the UN, but all the nations did when they signed on in 1945. They did. They did. And that's another thing here. You see, a lot of people right now in Canada, we have got, I'm getting reports that there was a news story about Thunder Bay, the schools there, that had suspended 536 students because they weren't up to date on their vaccinations. And a lot of the people that are in my circles are saying, oh, well, you can say no. The thing is, that's not broad knowledge. And I'm thinking that if they're suspending that many students, most likely they're not making it easy, just like they did back with the COVID jab. Heavy pressure, right? Now, one thing people have to understand is, again, vaccination is cornerstone to Agenda 2030, to SDG number 3, health and well-being. It is. See, the UN and the globalists, they believe that vaccination, that, like an animal, that is the basis of your health. That is the mentality we're working with here. And going forward with precision medicine, with our DNA being our data, with integrated systems in healthcare, this is going to be all part of that, right? It is. A lot of parents are, well, we're not going to do it. Well, there's going to be a few years of a real push by the establishment to get that jab in your kids, as there always has been. And yes, there will be a few years, perhaps, that you can still get out of it. But inevitably in the future, no. It is the cornerstone, my friends. See, what's going to happen is that person, that child, may be prohibited from participating in society. We've already been through it. Oh, they can't do that. Well, that's what you all said back when I told you a year and a half in advance that the COVID shot would be mandated. They fought the messenger instead of getting ahead of it. See, this is what people need to do right now, is get ahead of it, because this is coming down. On my Telegram channel, I have shared the the WHO vaccination 2030. It's huge. Again, it is the cornerstone of UN Agenda 2030. And again, Donald Trump can say whatever he wants, but just in the precision medicine description, you can see that Make America Healthy is absolutely part of that. It is. Again, we're not using our discernment, and we're certainly not using our fingers to do some digging. We're following influencers because of their previous reputations. And we're counting on those people because we put our trust into them. And I'm sorry, but they're letting you down big time. Now, typically, the operations manager, being Jim O'Neill of Health and Human Services, which he was confirmed right away, right? They've got the big show with RFK, but they've got the biotech guy planted. Now, his agenda would seemingly conflict with RFK, but it won't. No. RFK is going to be the guy who smooths it over. That's going to be his job. He's the spin doctor. That's who he's going to be. That's his role. While Jim O'Neill, he's running the show in the background. Hi, Harrow. Thank you. Yes, things have picked up so fast, I'm back regular. They wanted people to be upset over Elon and get the energy redirected. Well, at the end, I think that's part of it. But I'm going to take on Doge myself, the Department of Government Efficiency, aka the Department of Government Sustainability. That's what it is. And what's interesting now is that I have to go to the leftists right now to get the news because what's happening with Doge is pretty interesting. We'll take that on this week. And of course, it's spinning off into Canada, right? Because of these expenditures, ridiculous expenditures. But at the end of the day, it's a psyop. Just like Make America Healthy. This is a cover for precision medicine. Now, here's an interesting fact. And I didn't realize, in Canada, you cannot get an organ transplant without the COVID shots, right? Well, I didn't think that was going on in the US, but yes, it is. An Ohio girl, just not too long ago, was denied an organ transplant because she did not have the shot. Now, I've looked everywhere to see if Trump is going to overturn that policy, and no, that is organ transplant policy. And it seems to be Canada and the US. I have to do a little more digging to see where else it's affecting. But again, biotechnology is calling the shots here. This is who our leaders are beholden to. It's who the United Nations are beholden to. And I talk a lot about the Middle East and Islam. Islam loves biotechnology. Oh, yes, they do. They're talking about in Make America Healthy that they're going to reduce environmental toxins. Well, they're not going to stop spraying silver iodide for cloud seeding. They're certainly not going to do that. No. We know that there's a whole lot of other things they're spraying. Yes. Again, the real scary thing here is we're same situation as the COVID jab. They have to prove now it's safe, which how can they do that in a short term? They can't, because on the other hand with this is that the times are going to be limited for testing, right? So how can they? But they don't have to prove efficacy. They can make the disconnect. This is how you know it's a genetic technology. See, it's not, just like the COVID jab, it's not being marketed for its stated purpose. It's not. Canada's vaccination plan is to have 99.9% of all citizens fully vaccinated by 2030. That's global, Sunny. Yeah. And Canada is absolutely committed to that. It is. It is. Now, interestingly enough, I think, Sunny, you're in one of the groups I am with, homeschooling, one of the homeschooling groups on Facebook. And an anonymous person posted, well, why don't we go for government funding? And I'm thinking to myself, that's the government. That's the government. It's biotechnology. It's one of the opposition parties, maybe the union. But they're posing that. And a few people were like, oh, that sounds like a great idea. And it's like, no, not a good idea, because again, even the homeschoolers will have to do it. Now, they're going to try their tactics. We've experienced the tactics during the COVID jab, right? And they've been trying for years to push 95% is apparently herd immunity. But it's on. It's on. And I'm going to go through the vaccination handbook with you guys on another video because it's pretty big. And people need to understand it and know it. We can't bury our heads in the sand on this stuff, guys. We can't. And we can't trust the influencers that are saying everything's going to be okay. We can't. A few years ago, I really had some suspicions about the Children's Health Defense. And as COVID rolled out, I could see who they were fronting for. Again, they want to contain everybody. And we get a false sense of how big we are as a group of people that do not want these shots, okay? Because social media makes us believe we're bigger than we are. They do. Because we're surrounded by people who we're telling each other what we want to hear, right? That's the attraction. So we have to become much more discerning. We really do. I don't believe in nothing that Trump says anymore, given what one knows and to pay attention enough to understand what's going on. And we have to. I mean, again, the first inauguration day, it was Project Stargate. Okay? That's going to be the basis of biodigital convergence. Yes, it is. Again, all of this is integrated. There's so much going on, crazy. There is enough evidence to teach people. There is, and it's public. I mean, this took me, I knew where I was going with the video, but it took me all of 5 minutes to pull up all my links. Boom, 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 boom. It's all there. But we have to look. Again, we cannot trust. We trusted during the COVID jabs. And look at how that's turned out. And the thing is, the rest of the world doesn't even know it. Like, a lot of the world doesn't understand that people are dropping dead from heart attacks, that kids are dropping dead from heart attacks. They're not getting that news. They're not. A lot of the people that were out there publicly pushing the shots have, since croaked. They have. Very sad. It's all there. And I have booted up again. I have, the need is here. It's kind of like at the beginning of COVID for me. It's the same energy that I was in back then, 5 years ago. I stopped doing videos for a few years because I had a few problems here in Mexico. But not only that, I just felt that I could see everybody following the Pied Piper convoy people down the garden path. And at that point I went, I can't do it anymore. I'm out. And I just kept doing my Telegram channel. I would really love to see some more subscribers. I really don't have a lot, but this is how I support myself because this is a full-time endeavor. I know Telegram is a little, for the Facebook people, sometimes they don't like it so much, but I've got a lot of good research there. And not to mention, I can put the PDFs in full there. So it's good. If I'm not here too often, I can get more views. But if I show up here on the regular, then they've got a, thumb on me again. So I have revitalized my YouTube channel, and I will, for these videos that are timing out for you guys, making it difficult for you to view the whole thing, I will put those up again. And I will put all the links in the descriptor here so you don't have to dig. But guys, yeah. We definitely have, this is coming down. And America is leading the charge. They are. Under the guise of health. When it should be exposed that this is all about genetic manipulation. And that is my aversion to it all. It is. Messing with our genetics also has a whole lot of implications, and I'm going to get into them briefly here. Number one, a lot of people don't understand about biotechnology, but because I was in the hemp food business, I learned a lot from the organic farmers out there. I knew nothing about agriculture when I started. In fact, I grew up around all farms, and I had no interest until it was hemp, because I had to get people to grow it. So I spent a lot of time with farmers, and in those days, a lot of time on the phone, because sometimes you could be on the phone with them 3-4 hours. Farmers love to talk, right? And they love to download their information. So this is how I learned. But in Saskatchewan, for example, there was a farmer, Percy Schmeiser, and he was a canola breeder. Anyway, some Monsanto seed apparently drifted into his land and grew, and that's what's called volunteers. Okay, so something goes off. This is why when we're dealing with genetically modified foods, it's pretty hard with organic, because there's crossbreeding, right, with that genetically altered seed. In any case, as it turned out, Percy really didn't, he was not a wealthy farmer, but he was doing pretty good for himself. But taking on Monsanto was, you can't win. They do what Islam does, lawfare, biotechnology, and you just can't, you don't have the money to deal with it. At the end of the day, they were suing him for growing their seed, even though it drifted, right? In any case, at the end of it, he didn't have to pay Monsanto, but they pretty much broke him. Okay? In my province, we had a GMO rally, and no one came in Regina, Saskatchewan, because this is Biotechville. Saskatchewan is very committed to biotechnology, and no one would show up, not even the organic people, because, they were dependent on the government for funding. See, this is why the government wants to get in there, and then what happens is they shut everybody up. Now, the implications with this is the fact that they are taking a substance, with their genetics, like, for example, the spike protein, and that's going in your system. Down the line, these have ownership issues. And I'm not going to expand too much here. I'm going to do it elsewhere in writing, and I have more because I don't want this video to get taken down. But just understand, when a company's, biotechnologies companies' genetics are inserted into one's body, well, there might be a question in the future as to ownership. And I know that sounds wild, but research biotechnology and the seed business, because that's, it's all there. It's already been precedented in that regard. I don't think it's something that they're going to come up with right away, but this has long-term implications. Another thing people need to remember is during COVID, there was something like 9 Latin American nations that gave up some realm of sovereignty. They were negotiating ports for the Pfizer vaccine. Yes. So this genetic technology, no one's digging into it enough, into the long-term implications. They're not. But at the end of the day, when we are all wired into a system, they're going to make America healthy, they're going to make Canada healthy, they're going to make the world healthy, because you won't be able to purchase like the Doritos 3 times a week. And they're going to base that on our carbon footprint, okay? So we have to understand what is coming together, and they've been playing the long game forever. This is a manipulation. We know how to be healthy. Many of us strive to do that. And for me, I base that on natural immunity. Strengthening my natural immunity. And that keeps me healthy. Biotechnology doesn't believe in natural immunity. Maha can say whatever they want, but at the end of the day, biotechnology, it's an operating system, okay? It's a life system. And it depends on their ownership of that life system that could soon be coursing through our veins. And of course, is coursing through the veins and bodies and organs of everybody, of 75% of the population through the last mRNA shot. If you have been injected, you are no longer have the rights as a living human. They have this in the books already. That's the transhumanism they're talking about, William. Okay, everybody's thinking robot. No. That's the transhumanism. It's in the genetics. Natural. That's what we want to do. And there are a lot of people out there going, well, you know, don't do supplements. There's nanoparticles. And look, at the end of the day, supplements saved my ass, I have to tell you, many years ago. Well, not that long ago, actually, 5, 6. I lost 3 inches in my height, right? I was literally disintegrating. And supplements changed it all. I was back. It took me about 3 years. But when I went back to the doctor and made him do another bone scan, after I refused their medication, that he told me it's the only thing that would help and it wasn't going to solve the problem, he was absolutely shocked because I'd actually grown back a bit in my spine and in my right hip. So, and he wasn't happy about that at all. You would have thought the doctor would have been jumping up and down for me. But no, because I didn't follow their way. At the end of the day, we want to stay away from these pharmaceuticals best we can. And we've all learned what can happen with this mRNA shot. And they're talking about safety. But at the end of the day, the last one didn't demonstrate safety at all. And it didn't demonstrate efficacy. And I don't see Trump pulling Pfizer or any of the vaccines off the shelf in the United States, because he's not going to. No. And they might be a sacrificial lamb here or there, but at the end of the day, biotechnology is the sector we're dealing with. That is the future of medicine. And again, they can say what they want about natural, but that's not the program. They are demons. They are. It's about ownership. It's the implications of this, people are not understanding. But biotechnology is ruthless. I know from farmers, and I learned this in my years of dealing with them, because the family would invite you out for dinner and stuff, and, they'd have a little time to talk to you, not on the phone or anything, but like the bullying that goes on. I mean, the bullying is, we went through it. All of us who said no to the shot, we dealt with that bullying. And for me, I dealt with death threats. A lot of people dealt with some pretty heavy stuff. Ruthless. They will have to kill me. Yeah. Seems I get bad vibes for saying ivermectin may not be as great as they tell us. Well, at the end of the day, ivermectin, especially being in Mexico, it's a tried and true medication. It truly is. But it should never have been for a preventative. That's not a preventative. I had a wicked eye infection from stupid AC, right? Like, bad. I had to get shots in the butt of antibiotics. That's how bad it was. I tried to handle it naturally for a long time, and it was getting nowhere. Well, funny enough, the antibiotics didn't quite do it. It was coming back. And I looked up ivermectin, and there it was. So I just went to the store and bought it, because you don't need a prescription here, right? You just go to the pharmacy, get what you need. And I took 2 pills, 8 hours apart, and that infection has not been back. I think ivermectin is, again, it's not a preventative. It's something that you have in your toolkit just in case. It's not something that you rely on. And of course for parasites too, right? A lot of people are upset, well, there's going to be nanoparticles. Well, at the end of the day, guys, everything is, we're surrounded. We are surrounded. I'm not saying that we should start taking pharmaceuticals, because I don't advocate for that. I advocate for the natural solution. Before, I tried for, I think it was 6 months, everything natural. And some things would hold it off for a bit. But after that, I had to, well, I looked like Quasimodo. I mean, there was no choice. It was that or, lose my eye. So how do you feel about the claims of shedding vaccination to non-vaccinated? I believe that's absolutely possible, yes. And I actually read an article last night that talked about it even more. Yeah, it's possible. Yes. Here in Mexico, most people did get vaccinated. Like here in Cozumel, they made the people that were dealing with tourists, they made them get the shot. They had to show papers here. Yet, in different regions of Mexico, like a lot of people did it here because of the family. It's just something you did. But not to mention in some regions, there was one place I was going to live, and it got cut off. It was on the beach, and it got cut off from food and everything for 3 months. Yeah. The gringos in the area, it was one of the realtors I was dealing with. Him and his wife had a full freezer, and they were giving out food, and they organized a truck to go into the bigger town, which was about 30 minutes away, to get food loads. And nobody had money or income. They came in with the vaccines before the food. Yes, they did. So there was a real push here. I mean, if you didn't want it, you didn't have to get it in Ecuador. I know that, I came here to Mexico because they weren't against non-vaccinated people. But these are the little stories I found out later. And people don't just openly talk about it. This is sort of like hush-hush in your ear talk. They're not. But it was never mandated for work or anything like that. It wasn't. Claudia Sheinbaum was the mayor of Mexico when this went down, and there was no mandate for masks, but most people wore them. Yeah, there was no mandate for vaccines, but a lot of people went and did it. Now, to get a COVID vaccine, you have to pay. It's like 600 or 800 pesos. It's quite a bit of money, which is about 50, 60 bucks. Yeah, it's not cheap, so nobody gets it anymore. Yeah. Some pleasant show trials to placate the Maha masses. It's dynamic, not unlike the uncomfortable gap between the Nuremberg trials and Operation Paperclip. Basic theater. Yes. It is theater. It is theater. I have to say, though, I still can't get over Food Babe. I really liked her. Again, I had been out of the natural products business for a bit, but I was very impressed with, her passion for health. But when I saw her get compromised, and now clearly compromised by biotechnology, that's very sad. And how many people has she got trailing behind her? Thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, with her high-profile status with Make America Healthy Again. All these people who believe that RFK is not about the vaccine, yes, it is. It's integrated. Genetic therapy is integrated. Not here in South Carolina. Hell, they still give the shot out for free. Oh, do they? Yeah, I think in Canada, I think too. But yeah, the developing world, no, they have to pay for it. Yeah, I got that from the gringo groups because, they're talking about it. So, and most Mexicans, they got the first one. Les got the second one, and then it pretty much ended. I've seen some commercials on YouTube for the vaccine, but I imagine that's just the wealthier people going to get that because, most people, a lot of people, they don't vaccinate their dogs, right? I don't either. I got out of that right away. My little ones have never seen the vet, so. I was foolish. Working as a nurse many years in the same hospital network, I applied for 2 waivers, and it was denied and told I had 1 week before I was terminated. I took a first vaccine and workup with an ocular stroke to the left eye, and 3 days later, the hospital told me not to get the second shot. Go figure. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Wow, I learned a valuable lesson. We'll never be in a situation where anything is mandated to me again. I can tell you, Jacinda, I was 23. I was managing a restaurant, and the owner of the restaurant told me that I had to get the flu vaccine. I was very upset. I didn't want to do it. And I did because I needed my job. He told me I would lose my job. I was sick, like deathly ill for 16 days. Like I couldn't get out of bed. It was that bad. It was horrible. And after that, I swore no one would ever coerce me again, ever, ever. And unfortunately, we have a lot to lose. But when people say that I didn't have a choice, well, you did. You did. You could have said no. We can't often, the repercussions, we don't choose those. But I don't care what the repercussions are. I left the country because I really thought this was going to continue on. There's definitely a little break going on, but the agenda is still on. Next question, are there really protocols that can fight spike proteins, etc.? I have never shown antibodies. Well, the way the spike protein apparently travels through the body, people say that they can detox. I don't, this is a genetic therapy, it's altering your genetics. So I don't see that. I don't. I think we can use detox techniques to mitigate any type of symptoms, but this is laced in our genetic. Anyone who did the shot is laced in your genetics. I'm sorry to say that, but it is. They know that it travels through the body. They know it gets into organs. They do. But it has affected genetics because that's the whole point of it. These aren't vaccines. They're not. I'm challenged because often I want to talk about this, and if I didn't call it a vaccine because that's what they've been calling them, people wouldn't understand what I mean. But at the end of the day, they're not. They never were. Moderna, right at the beginning, I did a video and that got deleted. This was December of 2021 or 2020, and they advertised that it was an operating system, life system, operating system, right? Yeah, that was right on their website. When you have a family, it is heartbreaking. I was fortunate not, but my life on the line. Yeah. Yes. I experienced a lot of people losing a lot of family connections, friend connections. But, as I've said, that was a cleanse for everyone. It was, because you really, one thing about Agenda 2030 and COVID and all of it is COVID allowed us to see the true colors of what we were dealing with around us. It exposed the holes in our lives and in our connections with people. So I'm actually quite grateful for it all. I am. Because there are people that I was investing time and energy into that weren't worthy of my time and energy. And I prefer to spend it with people like you, who are legitimately concerned with your environment, with your health, and mostly the people that I've come in contact with. We all have a collective interest in the health of everyone. We truly believe in that. That's why we get up every day and get on social media and talk about what is going on and furnish each other with information. A lot of passionate people that I've been in contact with, like all of you here. I think we have to be thankful for that. Because had that not happened, we wouldn't be here at this place and time. This is going to be this is the transition of our entire world and everything we know. And the youth will never understand what we're going to see. But for those of us who are aware, we're going to watch our world transform in a very radical way. And it's not to natural health. It's not. My family is fully vaccinated, but seeing reality and stupidity around me will definitely give me a stroke one day. You have to detach. You do. Here's the thing. If people aren't ready to hear it, they're just not ready. And we have to stop trying to beat a dead horse. Like, What we need to do is turn our attention to the people that are receptive and support each other this way. Support each other with information. Support each other with, again, sharing our stories. This has taught us a lot about the integrity of our relationships and, again, where we were putting our energy. And I'm thankful for it. I truly am. Do you think it's the mark of the beast? I'm not Christian per se. I'm spiritual. So I don't quite see it like that. But mark of the beast, if you mean DNA integrated into you. See, that's what I sort of read into that. Not so much a mark. It's ownership. So, yeah, mark of the beast. The root of the word apocalypse is disclosure. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. It definitely exposed a lot. I was made well aware of who I can trust in the future and who I can't. Who is a communist mindset amongst my friends and who does not. I am fortunate. Sorry, it's not letting me get into that comment here. They say they are going to offer another vaccine to fix the COVID vaccines. Yeah, well, confidence is gone for this girl. I never had it to start with, mostly because they were lying right off the hop about what it was. See, if they can't even be honest about what it is, how in the world can we have confidence? They're counting on the sheep to follow the lead. It's real sad. And people do it. What was really sad, when I had my magazine, Organic Lifestyles, I used to distribute that to all the health food stores in Canada for 5 years. I was at the beginning of the green movement, so hemp was part of that, right? I had one gal, a Canadian songstress, Tara McLean. She was a contributing writer to my magazine. And at one point, she talked about chickenpox parties, and I published it. And people told me I shouldn't. Well, that's when biotechnology and the government came for my head. They came to destroy me, and they did, through consecutive GST audits, all of that. Well, guess what? Tara McLean was promoting the COVID vaccine when that happened, and I was horrified. I went to bat for that woman. They came for me because of that. They destroyed my life. Like, it took me 7 years to start writing again. Okay, guys, like, this is how bad it was. And yeah, pretty sad to see that. And again, people that are believing in Vani Hari, no, not when she's aligned with biotechnology, and people need to take her to task on that. People need to stop just believing and dig into everything. When people are propped to the front of the line and to confront the public like that, they're aligned with this agenda. Team UN. And I don't care what Trump says about leaving the Paris Accord, none of that. Make America Healthy, again, aligns with several SDGs, starting with SDG number 3. Good health and well-being. It's integrated. It is. But what they're doing is they're literally hijacking these terms that we understand from the past as having a different meaning than they are having now. Wordplay, spin doctors, marketers, master magicians. This is what they do. I'm a marketer, so I understand it. I can see rebranding. And MAHA, as far as I'm concerned, is just, it's components of Agenda 2030 rebranded. That's all. Created for American consumption. They are working on it. For one day, they will require us to eat. One day, this is the mark of the beast question. In any case, I hope you got something out of that. And like I said, I'm going to post this to YouTube. I'll put all the links in the description so you don't have to dig. And I'll be back in a few days to talk about Doge. And I'm trying to, Canadians are quite excited about that as well, because, they're looking for corruption too, and they're finding it with government spending. I'm going to teach you about how it is actually Department of Government Efficiency is actually just the Department of Government Sustainability. It is. It's on. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.